Hi. Hello, Munchkins. Hello. Can you hear me okay? I got to get us organized. I'm running a bit late. You see me? I just got out of the shower. Hello. I'm your disorganized best friend. I'm your BFF who's disorganized. Who here wants a BFF that's completely disorganized and highly whimsical? I'm free to travel. Whoops. Oh, yes. I'm just getting our second. Hi, everybody. I'm just getting our second window, okay? So you can see the cards. Thank God everything is fine with me. How are all of you? You guys holding up? I know it's crazy right now. Welcome. Take a seat. This is our brunch. It's very casual. Come as you are. Dress is casual or not at all if you choose to be naked. Just know that if you are, FaceTiming. So listen, tell us where you're coming from as we extend this brunch table, my brunch table, to the four corners of the world. We welcome you. This is your place to have brunch if you've got nowhere to go, or if you choose us as your number one choice, which is, when I send out an invite for brunch, I want to know that I'm your number one. Okay, so let's see if I can do this. Can I enter the studio? Yes. Did that mess with my sound at all? I certainly hope not, because I have, it's supposed to be on the audio. Oh, goody. My audio is superbo, numero uno. Hi, Sybil. Hi, Renee. Hi, Nancy, darling. All right, so what are you having for brunch? Hi, Joel. Joel's our floor director. Give it up for Joel. He comes here every Sunday, and well, unless he, I as much as I want to be his number one, I understand that his number one is his beautiful his grandchildren. So sometimes he has to leave us to care for and spend time with his beautiful family. So when we can get Joel here, gosh, are we grateful to have him. He knows precisely. He has his thumb on the pulse, as they say. He knows precisely what you folks are worried about. And also, I'm not the best person for seeing all the questions. So Joel is kind enough to come here and help with all of that. Big letters so that I can see stuff. He greets you. He is the floor director. So if there's any complaints or concerns, please tell them to Joel. He does have the ability to ban you if you are not sweet and kind in the ways I know you truly want to be, because deep down, just like Voldemort, just like, I can't believe I just said that. We won't say Voldemort. We'll say Snapes. All right, let's go more with Snapes. Voldemort might be too far gone, but just like Snapes, we know deep down, you are good. You are good. I know you want to be naughty, but deep down, just like Snapes, we know you are good. All right. So then our floor director will not have to ban you and kick you out and have you weeping and wailing and all that nonsense. So listen, I am having tea. I have not had my breakfast yet. I woke up late. Anybody else here wake up late? Sometimes I get up early in the morning. Do all of you do that? Sometime, oh gosh, 2:30 in the morning, 3:30. It's an ancient tradition, right? We have that second sleep, the first sleep and the second sleep, we're programmed to get up early in the morning and check, because that's when the predators come looking, right? The coyotes and the wolves are coming to eat our chickens, right? Eat our cattle, right? So we would get up early, and I got a feeling, got to check my perimeter, got to check the farm, right? And we might go ahead and put some food in and start to feed the animals, right? The other thing we might do, I'm going to have some sugar, which is half sugar and half mung fruit. Half sugar and half mung fruit, right? So you can still get that nice sugar taste, but with 50% less calories and less sugar. So if you're talking about a level teaspoon, this is semi-level, being 5 grams of sugar, it's now 2.5. So if we're talking about a pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic diet where we don't want to see more than 25 grams of sugar a day, but you still want to have a little bit of that sugar taste, like a teaspoon of sugar in your tea, just cut it with 50% monk fruit, and then you won't get that awful. I don't like the taste of monk fruit, so I like to cut it with sugar, and then I get my sugar down to 15, 20 grams a day, well below the requirement of less than 25. So, and then in terms of milk, you can go with any kind of milk. Low glycemic milks are the almond milk and the flax milk. Right? So if we're thinking about going with now Ripple is a high protein soy, excuse me, is it mung beans? Is it mung beans from Ripple? Yeah. Excuse me. L'chaim. So you wind up with a creamy sweet tea, vegan, high protein, low glycemic, and then, you can hang out with your friends, have a tea time, little milk and sugar, and nobody knows the difference, right? Ripple, RIPPLE, and you can get it, I think you can get it anywhere, right? You can get it at Safeway. 10 grams protein per cup. Yeah, go ahead and write it down. It's not milk. Some people like to get the vanilla flavor or put a little vanilla. I actually enjoy that. I enjoy having a little vanilla sometimes in the soy latte or whatever I'm having. All right, let me get our book. Y'all know we have a book club. All right, people. Joel, do you ever read our books? Joel sent his book. He sent his ancestry book, which I thought was really cool. The Tilson family. He went all the way to the King of Jordan, his family. He is related to the King of Jordan. Is that right? You're a direct descendant of that lineage, right? I think he's Jewish, and Joel is part Jewish and part Bedouin, Hashemite. Yeah, that's a great combo, Joel. King Fulk. Oh yeah, King Fulk was his great-great-grandfather. Yeah, very, very cool. All right, listen, you guys. That was century. Was that under the Ottomans? I think so. All right, listen. The Trouble with Truth, very well written. Hats off to Elizabeth Kelly Stevenson, one of the best writers, greatest writers. We'll have the privilege of interviewing. Amazing book. The reason I had to go and grab it is because I read it at night. I'm in bed. Her friendships remind me of my friendships, where I have somebody gives me a really stupid idea and then I do it. And then, why did you tell me to do that? I didn't tell you to do that. Yes, you did. No, I said something entirely. You ever had those? There's that sort of thing happening a lot in this book. In the end, and I'm glad that she put that in there. we have to take responsibility for our bad choices, right? Who we marry, what kind of business we go into. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it, right? You know what I mean? All right, so she'll be in our studios January 20th at 6 p.m. I'm getting a lot out of this book, and so is Chuck. And he and I are just like, we can't stop talking about it. Like, oh my God, I do that. Oh my God, I've been in denial. Oh my God, I've lied to myself about that relationship. Oh my God, right? It's part of being human. So be sure and check that out. And Tuesday, we will be selecting a new book. If you would, sorry. I'm going to take a little bit more tea here. I've got that persistent cough that happens when I sit on this cat dander couch or chair. I love it. But I always get cough when I sit here. Oh my God, that tastes so good. Yeah, so Tuesday we'll be selecting another book. If you would like to submit your book to be considered in our Book of the Month Club, if you are a writer, please send it to care of Dr. Whimsy Anderson, 1819 Southwest 5th Avenue, Suite 116, Portland, Oregon, 97201. And maybe you will be selected as one of the authors that we have for our Book of the Month Club. So that'll be cool. All right, let's go ahead. We'll turn the camera around and say hi to all of you. Again, tell us where you're coming from as we join the four corners from the four corners of the earth. Where are you coming from? What you eating? What you drinking? Who are you? Turn and say hi to the person next to you at the virtual table. We accept everyone at our table. Please do not insult people who are Republicans and call them Republicans. Please don't call liberals libtards. These kinds of attacks will get you. Come on, you're an adult. You don't need me to lecture you like this. You don't make Joel have to be a bad daddy. I've seen Joel be the bad daddy, that mean papa that has to come in and say, no more toys for you, right? And we don't want to do that. Okay, let me just check my settings here real fast. Oops, I got to mute that. Just checking my settings really fast, and then we are going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the blitzes. Oh, lovely. Yes, I see everybody here. Okay, so let me go ahead and say hi to people. I just needed to have a better visual here. Oh, hi, Renee. How are you? Sybil is in the house. George Girjo from Soggy Rock, Sacramento. Oh, you're getting some rain out there. It's dry today in Portland, Oregon. Oh, Renee, Renee, huh? Rena Tehan. Rena Tehan. Oh my God. Hi from, she's in Germany. Hi. What kind of, what is it, about 8 o'clock over there right now? Nancy Kreit. Hi, she's in Seattle. Sybil, hello, my love. Always good to see her here. I think she's a student of HCRV. By the way, we have a class tonight at 5 p.m. Where are y'all sleeping? Are you watching the class late? We have class, I think it's our 6th or 7th class. So we're getting into like the meat and the bones of the astral body anatomy and stuff. So if you are at the Elders and Empaths level, you have free access to those classes. So it'll be 5 o'clock tonight. And we will be doing some remote viewing. We will have 2 target locations, 5 o'clock tonight. Be there or be square. 2 targets. One will be a physical location that's been randomly selected by the computer, and the other will be a person, either alive or dead, who's famous, who's been randomly selected by the computer. And so we always give you homework along with the lecture on remote viewing. So take advantage of those free classes at the Elders and Empaths level. If you are wanting to upgrade so that you can make tonight's class, that would be awesome. We'd love to see you there. Linda, Rita, hi. Jill, Linda, hello, shalom. She's in Vancouver, Georgia. Linda's in Georgia. Deborah, I have dysfunctional friends. They say that is why they choose me. Good. Yes, let's all be dysfunctional. What's the good thing that can come out of being unhireable? If you are unhireable, what does that mean? I think I'm unhireable. Join the class of people who's unhireable. Who here is unhireable? Yes, it means that now you've got all the time in the world to fulfill all your dreams because you're unhireable, which means that the only solution for you now is plan B. You see how this works? You must now become successful at the thing you truly wanted to do in the first place because you are unhireable. Now, if you were hireable, that would be a problem. I've got it all figured out. Well, if you were hireable, you would go and have a job 9 to 5, and then you would have no time to pursue your violin or that manuscript you've been meaning to write or anything else you've been trying to create. True, 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 true. So therefore, I say, carry on, those of us who are unhireable, and fulfill those dreams. Yes. Taro, Sharona, hello. We've said hi to Jolinda, have we? Deborah Murphy, if I don't say your name, please forgive me. We've said hi to Renee. Anne, hello. Loved divinely. Oh, yes. Often, loved divinely and often. What was your name again? I don't remember, but I loved you divinely. Off you go. Next. Yes, I support that. Loved divinely. Karina Moruzan, 8450. Hello. Pam Gladfelter. Hello. Maryland, my dear friend Kay. Hello, my love. I send you love. I believe she's somewhere like Albania right now. Oh, how are you? You're my favorite woman to have brunch with. Oh, thank you, my love. And 5808 in Maryland. Got a lot of people over in Maryland right now. So talk to me. How is the weather in Maryland? Are we talking about the big freeze? Virginia, Maryland? Are we talking about that yet? What is going on in DC right now? Let's talk about it. We'll continue to say hi to you as you go along. Deborah Murphy is drinking that Dr. Pepper. Good for her. Yummy, yum, yum. Love the Dr. Pepper. These things started off as medicines, right? Oh, Wendy is still in the Adirondacks. Yes, beautiful part of the world. She is the creator of our official Oracle of Whimsy hat that you often see me wearing. We thank her for that. All right. So, I listen to you guys. I talk to you guys. You guys are friends of mine. We hang out. If you're in the Portland area, give me a holler. We'll do coffee. Listen, what's the story with Michael Cohen? This is the number one issue that you guys want to talk about, okay? Who here does not know that we're talking about a controversy with Michael Cohen? Who here has not heard about this? Oh, hi, Joyce. Joyce is hopefully going to be in our studios on Thursday. We would love to have her back. We had a technical difficulty. Joyce is going to be the astrologer, hopefully, for the show that can come on maybe on a quarterly basis and give people some rundowns. We're still working on the kinks, but we would like to have Joyce repeatedly come on the show. That was something Chuck and I were very excited to talk with you about, Joyce. So get the audience loves you. Get the phone stuff set up or the earphones. Let's get you on Thursday and let's start having her there on a quarterly basis, because boy, do we have a lot to talk about. And I can tell you, Joyce, the two requests for you were, number one, people wanted an astrological chart for Donald Trump for 2026. And they wanted a general reading on the United States of America. So I hope we can get through all of those things Thursday if you come in on this Thursday. Let's pray that we can get the computer up and running so that we can have Joyce. Let's put that out to the universe, because boy, do I want to hear from her about 2026. This fire horse is already kicking people in the butt, and it hasn't even officially gotten here yet. It's just the drumbeat of the hooves, right? February 17th, it comes in, and we're just feeling the drum beats, right? Of that fiery horse energy in Chinese astrology, right? Fire and swiftness, right? So in the tarot, that would be the Knight of Wands, right? That would be the Knight of Wands. Yeah, that fiery Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is associated with two elements in Chinese medicine. Do you guys all know which ones they are? Which two elements are associated with the Knight of Wands? Before we give a collective reading, let's do a test on it. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I'm letting you bake with the question. What two elements, according to Chinese medicine, can be found in the Knight of Wands? It's the horse for the horse year. No, you can't get it? Come on, you guys. I've got former students here. Fire and wood, right? I can collectively hear you guys going, of course. Of course. Why are fire and wood together? Why are fire and wood together? Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God, yeah. There's 5 elements in Chinese medicine, and there are 4 suits. So fire and wood share one suit. That's why. That's the answer. But why are they put together? Why are fire and wood put together? You're working for your suppers, darling. You're working for your suppers, yes, before you get your collective readings. Because in Chinese medicine, wood feeds the fire element, right? Wood feeds fire. So if we're talking about how long in Chinese medicine does it take for wood to feed fire? The next cycle, right? So if you have a wood year, the following year will be a fire year, right? What about a wood horse? How long would it take for a wood horse to give birth to a fire horse? How long does it take for a wood horse to be born as a fire horse? If wood gives birth to fire, how long would that take? Dun, dun, dun. These are the kinds of tests I give people when they take a tarot with me. We cover this stuff. 12 years. Very good, Sarah. So what does that tell? Very good, Sarah. Good. I think, were you in my class last quarter? So listen, the last time the horse came in, it was a wood horse. And that was 12 years ago, right? So we had the building blocks of what that horse would evolve into. Think of, another way you can look at it is like a butterfly. The butterfly is born, right? It's fed something. So the wood horse fed what it would evolve into or be given birth to 12 years later, which is the fire horse. Now, what was happening 12 years ago? You have to go back to what was being built 12 years ago. Can you all remember what was being built 12 years ago? Let's go back in time. What year was it? It was 2014, right about? Is that correct? Very good. Who was in office? Obama. When was the bombing of Libya? Okay, we're moving on, right? We're seeing some stuff happening. So the wood horse, the time of the wood horse was Obama. And what was Obama doing? He was constructing something, right? Something that was going to blow up 12 years later. So what was he constructing that was going to blow up, that was going to evolve 12 years later? Does anybody know? What was Obama fighting? He went into Libya. He was kept up at night by Pakistan. Does this all sound familiar? But what was he building in 2014? He had already saved the economy in 2008. But now he was moving on to something else. And what was that something else? National security and trade routes, right? Because what was happening to us economically, we were not going to be able to survive if we didn't think in terms of trade and security, right? So what began to happen around 2012? We had something which was called the Tea Party, and we had people like Donald Trump, et cetera, started to get involved in some really racist attacks via social media. We had the stirrings, 2010 to 2014. It was really the stirrings of this relationship between Russia and the extreme right wing. And that is when Obama says to Putin, cut it out. Right? Does this sound familiar? And then Obama has to make a tough decision, doesn't he? Because Putin is trying to lasso the United States and take over trade. Does this sound familiar? So what does Obama do under the Obama administration? They bomb Libya, right? They take out that train route. But ultimately, he tries to pay off Iran not to terrorize. You know, it's like paying the mafia. This is probably how Obama viewed it. I got to pay the mafia. I got to pay the fee, right? But it didn't work, did it? Because what happened instead was that Iran wound up using all of the money to build more weapons to kill more Westerners, more Americans, to terrorize people all over the world, right? So that was the time of the wood horse. And now everything that was planted has evolved into the fire horse, which means that if the FBI under Obama was doing an overhaul, the CIA was doing an overhaul, and the DOJ was doing an overhaul, and he had worked actively to try and make sure that all these agencies were communicating so that they were not all investigating the same thing, and then they wound up investigating each other, right? We've got to have some communication between the various different agencies, which means that every bomb that was planted under Obama, everything that was protected about the investigation, the early investigation into the Russians, into the Iranians, into the Chinese, and their involvement in our elections, etc., would probably be exploding right about now. Do you see where we're going? Buried deep in the FBI files, buried deep in the CIA, multiple documents from multiple angles, constructed like a beautiful piece of wood, right? Like a beautiful wooden statue. He constructed the wooden horse, right? And now we are setting that lovely wooden horse ablaze. And what does that mean? What does that mean? When we say we're going to set it ablaze, if Obama was actively trying to get the intelligence agencies investigated themselves, communicating with one another, trying to centralize them more, like, what the hell are you people doing? This was a huge part of what he was doing in 2014. But he was also actively investigating compromised people. Who were some of the people that were compromised that were secretly under investigation? And I think they got fired a couple of years later. One of them was Michael Flynn, right? Yeah, because it's all coming back to you now, isn't it? Who was one of the other people that was investigating the Russian mob in 2014? Dun, 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 cha, 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 dun, dun, dun. Obama. Obama had brought in who? Who was with the FBI? Who were the investigators? Who were the private people that were brought in? Well, one of the main people that was investigating was Robert Mueller, right? That's the time of the wooden horse. So the wooden horse was the time when things were constructed, planted, prepared, that would eventually erupt approximately 10 years later. So that was what was going on from a Chinese astrology perspective. They constructed something, but what were they planning on doing with it? Obama would say he was pressured by his cabinet to make a deal, and he came to regret that deal. And that's one of the things that this is why we're dismantling Iran. But but Obama was in office constructing something, because that is precisely what you do. You could, during the time of the wooden horse, you construct something ferocious. So that ferocious thing that they were creating has now erupted, which means what? It means that tiny explosions and bombs are going off in all of the intelligence agencies, courtesy of Barack Obama and his team, who knew what was going on, and they planted long-term exposures. So all these bombs are going to start coming off. All these bombs, all these exposures, all these leaks, all these private documents. They buried Epstein under multiple investigations, and then they deep buried it with ticking time bombs that they would start coming out 5 years, 6 years, 12 years, right? All of that. And the reason they did that was to protect from Trump and from the people that had been compromised. And so they buried it in multiple investigations, in multiple deep freeze documents that are now beginning to erupt. And it appears as a remote viewer like oil bubbling up and exploding from everywhere. And I don't think the DOJ can handle it, because it's like it's on a timer. I don't even understand what I'm seeing as a remote viewer. It's as if they put all this stuff in place, multiple things, and then pop, 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 pop. And it's just like they can't control. And it's all this stuff that had been planted even before Biden got in office. So, and it's linked to that energy of the time of the wood horse. So that takes me to 2014 energetically. And then you have to think about all the energy that came before then, 2012, right? Like, this was something that they had been working on for a very, very long time. Now we go fast forward to questions on Michael Cohen. And it would appear that Michael Cohen is being accused of intimidating one of the victims of Donald Trump. So that's the controversy right now with Cohen. So what Cohen said was that Katie Johnson was a liar, that she's a liar. Now, Katie Johnson is one of the most disturbing cases that has been documented. And the most disturbing thing about what Cohen is saying is that Cohen is basically claiming that he went with a private investigator to intimidate a child victim. And that, of course, brings up issues like, why was Michael Cohen running around looking to threaten somebody who claims to have been raped by Donald Trump at the age of 13? And the answer appears to be that this was precisely Michael Cohen's job, right? So if Michael Cohen's job is to go hunting for these victims, I think hunting is one of the words he might have used, looking for her, we're going to get you, and I got a private investigator, and we're coming for you. And then I go looking for her with this private investigator, and the address she gives is a parking lot, so this must be fake. It's bad enough to be raped and trafficked as a child on the streets, maybe because your own home isn't safe, or the foster care system isn't safe, or wherever. The point is that their parents weren't watching them for whatever reason. And then it's your job to go and find these victims who've been trafficked and start threatening them. And you're working for one of the most powerful people in the country, as a businessman, as a public figure, as somebody that was probably linked to the mob. And so when victims advocates and trauma experts analyze Katie Johnson's mannerisms, the statements she's made, when people speak to her attorney, who fears for her safety, thinks she might be dead, they believe Katie Johnson. That her behavior, her physical discomfort, the details of the attack are classic for somebody who's been essayed in the way that she has. So that brings us back to the conversation about Michael Cohen. Who is Michael Cohen? Is this somebody who genuinely feels bad about his involvement with Donald Trump? Or is he somebody who is simply using the left to improve his own reputation and really doesn't care about anybody? So what he has said to reporters is that he didn't know anything about Epstein. He didn't know anything about sexual abuse allegations. Your job was to be Donald Trump's fixer. So how is it possible that you don't know anything about this when it's precisely your job to know about these things and to fix these things and to pay for them to go away? So that is the conversation. It's the fall of Michael Cohen, that he enriched himself, that he did what he had to do to protect his own reputation, wrote books, got with Midas Touch, made money, but really whitewashed his own involvement in the Epstein cover-up. He wrote an article a couple of days ago, was published, where he accused the left, Alvin Braggs and Letitia James, of pressuring him to testify against Trump in exchange for immunity or a lesser sentence. That is very common, that people will strike a deal, defendant one, defendant two, that they will cut a deal. But to an outsider, it looks as if he is turning on the left and going back, squealing, like the pig with the tail between its legs, right? Pretending that everything up to this point was a lie or that he had been pressured by the left to say things about Donald Trump that were not true. So that is the fall of Michael Cohen. And a lot of stuff is going to happen. A lot of people don't want him on Midas Touch anymore. Thank you, Meg Manoff. Manouf. I love that cat pic. Michael was the fixer that paid off the families of child victims. That's exactly right. And that's basically what is coming. I don't know, you guys, how do you feel about this? It's freaking disturbing to me. He goes hunting for a child rape victim. Are you out of your mind? So that's bad. That's real bad. There's no coming back. I'm done. That's me personally. I mean, I can't tell y'all what to do, but I believe Katie Johnson. That's all I'm saying. So, birds of a feather, right? And this is what Epstein said. An apology is never an apology. An apology is always a means to an end. Right? Is that what Trump said? Yep. Where are my matches? Oh dear. I've lost my matches. I was hoping to light some candles for us all. What do you think about all of that? Oh, I guess we're going to have to hold off on candle lighting. All right, that's okay. I'm upset because I really hoped that, I did remote views on Michael Cohen prior to his confession. And I don't know. It's just sad to see. I was really hoping that Michael Cohen was real, but according to Lev Parnes, yeah, I can't see my matches. I won't. According to Lev Parnes, he's a creep. So I don't know. But look at what Lev Parnes did. Lev Parnes, though, is doing real things. He's raising money for Ukraine to try and keep Ukrainians from freezing to death in the winter. He's from Ukraine, and he's very, very actively a part of that. So that's what's going on with him. And so just seeing, that's one of the points that Lev Parnes made, was that I'm out here trying to help more than just myself. I'm here trying to keep people from freezing to death. I'm trying to get food to senior citizens in Ukraine that are getting bombed. Seniors are freezing to death in the Ukraine right now. And his point was that all Michael Cohen has done is enriched Michael Cohen. That all he does is write books and sell, hey, join my podcast. And so he's made money off of his apology tour. And that is the point of Lev Parnes. That his apology was only a means to an end, because it was profitable to do so. Yeah, I will find those matches. Excuse me, just a sec. Just felt like I wanted to give, collective reading. I like to have candles when I give the collective. Yeah, I'll leave you guys to decide for yourselves. But I just don't know if I want to give money or support the channel of somebody that's hunting down these horrible people who've committed the crime of going to the police after they've been raped. That's not. Midas Touch has to get it together in general. They're just factually wrong a lot of the time, and it doesn't help the left. It doesn't help us in the movement. I'm telling you, as a lefty. We can't just produce propaganda for propaganda's sake. We got to be careful about, otherwise they're going to screw us over in the midterms. So if this guy turns out, don't be loyal to somebody who terrorizes children. Dump him. That would be my advice to Midas Touch. Don't be a hypocrite. If you claim you're worth some, if you claim that we are of a higher ethics, that we have zero tolerance for child abuse and enablers, cut him, get him out. I understand it's just our word. No, you openly admitted that you went hunting for a victim. Tara Palmera, which by the way, good for her that she gave hard-hitting questions about his relationship with Epstein. That's all I'm saying. All right, we're going to do the collective reading. Midas has dropped, Cohen. Good. So I agree, Joel. They got too crazy. They just started saying crazy things. And also, Joel and I, we're kind of intellectual nerds. We look at military stuff. We look at military. We look at history. We look at, I don't know why people bash the enforcer. The enforcer is the fastest way to get real news about what's going on in the war, I have found with enforcer. Enforcer Matt and Enforcer whatever. But I do watch them because they can say, right, here's what's going on in the Donbass. And then there was a bomb that hit at such and such an address. You're getting that real-time information with them. And they try to be as apolitical as possible, though lately they've been attacking Trump openly. So I think even they have just had it. My attacks of Midas Touch are that we had done the data. This stuff was done. Obama started this because we have to close the trade routes with Putin. And so this stuff was planned. It doesn't matter who the president is. That's what we keep trying to say. That's what we say on this channel over and over and over and over again, is like there's no avoiding this. You can't get out of it, is what we're saying. Because these decisions and this math and this calculation was decided long before Trump was even in the White House. They knew as early as 2023 that this guy that Putin was going down and that Iran was going down. I'm just a civilian. Hey, look what I discovered. Let me show it to the IDF. Let me show it to Joe Biden, right? Do you think I was showing them anything they didn't know? We know. Another civilian who's figured it out, right? So it doesn't really matter who the president is. They always planned on the fall of Iran. They've been dismantling Iran for a very long time. And they've been dismantling Russia for a very long time because Putin is an existential threat. And it doesn't really matter who's in the White House. Trump can rant and rave that he doesn't want to get rid of Putin or that he doesn't want to get rid of Iran. But the bottom line is that is the data. So that's how it's going to go. What's it going to do? Go against all the intelligence agencies? I just don't think even the president of the United States has that much power. Oh, hi, Norway. All right, let's give you a collective reading. Thanks for being here. Okay, and if you'd like to receive a healing at this time, go ahead and give us your name or the name, of someone you know, and we will include them in our prayers today. Thanks for being here. As I attempt not to cough at my kitty's getting her winter coat, so I've got that awful cough. There she is on my dirty bed. Look at that. You guys see it all. I haven't made no, I didn't make my bed today. I will. Don't worry, I will. There she is. She's done her damage. All right, let's do it. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call in our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. For those of you who are requesting a healing today, we come together at this time and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again, collectively, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed. May all souls be healed. Thank you, folks. All right, let's do the collective. What is in store for this week? Oh my God, I don't even want to. I don't know. I think Trump is a lame duck. I think that we're seeing serious cracks in the GOP. And I think that his mental health is really taking a dive. He doesn't seem to be able to stay awake during meetings and seems to be mixing his words a lot. Yeah. Oh, Daily Beast. Yeah, I watched that too. Yeah, if you guys want good sources, ask Joel, because Joel's pretty active in terms of like who has good news sources. All right, where we are at right now is that the Constitution will hold. Okay. Old-time Republicans are completely done with this administration. They are throwing in the towel. They did not agree to this. They did not sign up for this. When they talked about physical conservatism, it didn't mean shooting people in the face. They didn't mean that you had the right to go terrorizing or threatening our NATO allies. So I'm out. This is what you're hearing from Tillis, and you're hearing from other Republicans, is that there comes a point when you got to say enough is enough, and they have reached that point. The Hierophant is your higher ethos. It's your higher beliefs. It's what you stand by. It's what you support. It's what it's your higher ethos. In a reading about the government, it is the Constitution, which is the law of the land. In a personal reading, it is a person that is sticking to their higher ethos. They're praying. They have a consistent spiritual practice. This is important for longevity and health. Do you have a consistent spiritual practice where you are saying the rosary or chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, right? I'm a bad Buddhist. Sometimes I don't want to chant, right? I'd rather watch a movie. It takes consistency to have a spiritual practice, right? So I would say with the Hierophant coming into the first position that most of us should be praying, and we should be praying hard, that this is a time for deep prayer. In terms of what it means, how this energy expresses itself in DC, I think it's more and more people that are beginning to move towards the higher ethos of DC, which is the Constitution being the law of the land. The karma is we must heal. And that happens when Archangel Raphael comes in. Archangel Raphael is considered amongst the archangels to be the healer. And because he's the healer, he comes with an elixir. And so he comes and he brings the medicine. Nice omega-3 fatty acids there for you. There you go. Thank you to Raphael for that. Okay, so we're talking about a time when we are going to our higher ethics. Now is the time for you guys to focus on your higher ethics. What sustains you spiritually? Are you chanting? Are you praying? Are you saying the rosary? Are you going to church or temple or the synagogue or wherever? But move towards a consistent practice. This is your advice at this time. It will sustain you and it will help you get your mind back so that you know what you have to do. If you're chanting or listening to mantras, that's giving you time to quiet your mind. Journal often, right? Because journaling is going to really help you in terms of knowing what your goals are moving forward. And the other karma is a deep healing, So on the other hand, there is this feeling that Republicans and people that voted for this president that don't like seeing this chaos could be saying, now is the time for us to focus on what can we do to heal the nation. We got to heal from this. We have to also heal our relationships with the EU, right? This is the worst relationship we've ever had with the EU since I don't know when, right? Maybe ever. So the fact that we're running into Page of Cups, this means we have to override the president. Now, a lot of people were disappointed and upset last week when the energy pointed to Kamala Harris being either on the Supreme Court or AG. They wanted him to be the president. Well, I have a message to you from the energy of Kamala Harris because I was meditating on it and I thought, wow, you're young enough to be on the Supreme Court. You're still in your 50s, right? I think she's still in her 50s, right? A lot of people want you on the Supreme Court and a lot of people want you to be in the White House. She said, I would rather be on the Supreme Court. Why, Madam Vice President, would you rather be on the Supreme Court? She said, because the judicial and the executive are equal branches. The judicial and the executive are equal branches. So whether she's the president or the Supreme Court, she has equal power. They're equal branches. And if she's on the Supreme Court, she can be in the equal branch for 20 years. Whereas the best you could hope for would be 8 if you become the president. So she would have more power in terms of shaping laws and as a protector of this country on the Supreme Court. 60, perfect. That's longer than 8 years that she could serve on the Supreme Court. They usually look for people in their 40s and 50s, but 60 is not too old. There have been older justices that have come in, and she would still be able to serve 10, 20 years. Now, if she goes to AG, that could be great, but it could also be a problem because a lot of AGs, I think it's supposed to be a 10-year job. They keep getting fired by, Trump keeps firing any AG that he has a problem with. Whereas Biden didn't necessarily do that. Biden wasn't turning around and firing the FBI and firing this person and firing that person, right? So I would say with this type of card chart, it's important for us to take care of our health and to be consistent in our spiritual path and to understand in terms of what's going on a deeper level, this that we will heal as a nation, that we will heal, and that not only will we heal, but that I think the time of Trump is coming to an end. And so it's just important to take care of yourself right now. What is that thing in the background? I just noticed this. I want to move this. Move it with my foot. All right. All right. So what are you going to do? What is your job this month? Your job this month is to hold the space spiritually and to keep the mantras going and the prayer. If we can keep our minds clear, That's going to be the best thing that we can do for everybody right now. So keep close to your prayers and keep close to taking care of yourself. You don't need to be falling apart right now. Just take care of yourself. Eat right, sleep right, reduce animal fat from your diet. Animal fat is a big no-no. Animal fat, gotta stay away from it. Terrible for you. Too much sugar, right? Take care of your health. Yeah, my hair. Oh yeah, I just got out of the shower. Thank you for commenting. Yeah, I trimmed it. I had it trimmed. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. Notice everything. Where we are at right now is the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords is to flee like a thief. Flee like a thief. And that could indicate that it is wise for you to avoid any kind of tension or any kind of conflict with other people. Well, it's been called a couple things. Who is there? There are a lot of really famous tarot books that we've all read. Introduction to the Tarot. Who wrote that? But one of the things they say about this particular card is helter skelter. It's when you want to get out of a situation and you want to get out of it extremely quickly. Yeah. So I would say just avoid conflict with people. Just avoid conflict with people. Your crossing card is to be of service to others. It's one of the things that we do here is we try to make sure that everybody is welcomed here, and we discourage attacks no matter who is, whether people are attacking the right or the left. I don't like that. I don't think our nation benefits from us insulting each other. I just don't think it's good for us. So Seven of Swords is to flee situations, usually situations of conflict. The crossing card is Six of Pentacles, which is a desire to do service and a desire to have justice in the world. Right? So if you're what was that? I just noticed something here. Okay, never mind. So it's about balance. It's often thought of as like having an aspect to it of banking, in the sense that it has to do with a payout, but it also has to do with balancing the scales. If you look at this card, there's an aspect of balancing the scales, in the sense that who is worthy will receive, and who is denied is the person who is not worthy, right? The balancing of the scales. So things are beginning to right themselves. As scary as this time is, there are consequences, because what it felt like to me was that bombs had been planted all over the place by previous administrations, so that in the event of something like this, there would be this kind of explode. I don't think that they can stop the amount of leaks that are coming out. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that they can stop the number of leaks. And I think that what we're seeing right now is something that's been planned for a very long time. But this is a good card because it denotes balance, and it denotes justice is coming. The best thing you can do at this time is to pray, take care of your health, hold the space for the healing, and know that justice is coming. There's also judgment in the fourth house, which means a sane judgment. Please watch your own daily habits and interpersonal relationships. The devil in the third house could indicate deep-seated addictions to alcohol, addictions to drugs, sex addiction. People get addicted to video games, right? Anything that's puts you in a codependent relationship that could have an impact on your judgment. Be aware of that. Oh, you're in Saranda. Dang, lucky you, Kay. I wish I was there. Wow. You're coming out of the star energy and you're entering into the time of Ace of Cups. I think this is really optimistic, actually, to be honest with you, because this is denoting that we're entering into a time of healing. We're entering into a time of justice and service. I think the cruelty began to get to the Republicans. I think the old school Christian conservative, enough is enough. We are not going to be taking Greenland. So you have this justice coming in, but you also have this energy that would denote that there is a challenge with addiction, in the sense that this is a card that would indicate a kind of codependency. And I'm wondering if that's because we're dealing with issues like Donald Trump, and we're also dealing with the cult of Trump. And so another way of looking at this, if you're looking at it from a universal perspective, is the fact that people are really being held hostage by the devil, by this I don't like to call people names, but it has an aspect to it where we are all being held hostage by somebody who, by his own administration, has aspects of their personality where they're like an alcoholic. The whole entire community is being terrorized by the emotional instability of one person who has surrounded himself with enablers, right? And where we are at right now, stressed to the max. You know, 9 of Swords is to just be stressed out. I'm stressed out. What's that song? Da-na-na, stressed out. Da-na-na. That was a good song. So I think what they're saying here is try not to be so stressed out. That the best thing you could be doing for yourself is taking care of your health and your own spirituality, and move away from addiction in your own life, because that's not serving the greater issues right now. Hurting yourself is not helping anybody. Your opposition at this time is stubborn. So dealing with people, the problem with people who have personality disorders is they're not used to others saying no to them. They're pushy. They want what they want, right? They want what they want, and they're going to get what they're going to get. So 4 of Cups has that aspect of, no, I don't want to. So you could be fine in your own personal life. You could be dealing with people like this. You know, if you're talking about it from an internal perspective, addicted, codependency, stuck to relationships that make you feel trapped. You don't know what you're going to do about this relationship. The person will not change or is stubborn. Part of you wants to flee like a thief. You got to take some responsibility, buddy, for your situation, you know. That could be expressing itself in your internal relationships, but it's certainly on a global level. He is the mentally ill person having temper tantrums whose parents screwed up, and now the entire world has to deal with it. Are you living forever in Albania? If so, yes, I will come visit you. Hopes and fears. I can't believe my dear friend moved to Albania. What the hell? Hopes and fears, 5 of Pentacles, poverty, getting left out of the cold. Yeesh, you guys are really stressing. You guys are really stressing about finances right now. Yeah, we're all terrified. Me too. We're all scared. And the final outcome for you is a new contract, a new house, a new home, build your foundation so that no wind will send you asunder. You know, like no wind will tear you down. You will not be torn asunder. That's what. Because 3 of Pentacles is a real estate card, and it would indicate building a strong foundation for yourself. They're being very specific here. Number one, you must build your spiritual foundation. This is the first message from the guides today. Can everyone hear the message? They want to make sure everyone hears the message. If you truly want to save the world, the first thing is, number one, they ask that you become consistent in your spiritual practice. You know, you think about the founders of, people that helped spread Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, and they're some of the most accomplished people in the world. They've multiple doctoral degrees and et cetera, et cetera. And you say, well, how the hell did you achieve all of that? And they say, well, I chant 3 hours a day. I get up at 3:30 in the morning and I begin my chanting, right? So often the people who are the most productive are the people who, it's very counterintuitive, they spend the most time in their spiritual practice, because and always keep a journal. You must keep an account and a reckoning of your actions. This is something that is very ancient. So you pray with your journal. You pray with your journal. Because if something comes to you during your prayers, oh my God, I got to take care of that. Oh my God, I got to call my nephew. Oh my God, I got to pay that bill. Oh my God, I need to stay away from him. Whatever feelings are coming up when you're in your deepest prayer work, document them. You're going to start getting remote views too. You're going to start bringing things together. Wait a minute. That feels a lot of remote viewing can also happen when we do deep spiritual prayer work. So number one message from Spirit is you must be consistent in your practice. Right? Your second spiritual message is that you must make your physical health a priority. So the second message from your guides is put 100% into your physical health. Understand that you have a moral responsibility to take care of your physical health, that you have been given a body, that when you incarnated, when you came to this planet, you were guaranteed certain things. And one of the things that you were guaranteed was that you were guaranteed a body. And so you have a moral responsibility to care for this body. So your karma card is the Page of Cups, which is the ability to receive a healing. Your number one priority, get your spirituality in order. Number one, start praying. Number two is, and it must be a consistent practice. With me, I practice Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, right? I'm not consistent, so this message for me is I got to chant morning and night. I got to do it. I know I have to do it. I have to stop fighting the things that are helping me, healing my brain, right? The second thing you have to do is you have to take care of your health. Your karma card is the Page of Cups. You must heal your body. So that means giving up things that are bad for you. Junk food, garbage, any addictions, anything you're holding on to that is bad for you. That is the second aspect. And along with that, you want to include or take into consideration that part of step 2 is that you have to avoid persons, places, or things that place you in harm's way. Chocolate's not bad for you. I have chocolate in my coffee every morning. It's loaded with antioxidants and minerals. So the thing I'm concerned about here energetically is the devil in the third house. So you have the base card of the Page of Cups, but you've also got you're stuck with an addiction. Smoking too much weed, drinking too much vodka, or being in love with the wrong person, codependent. I can't let him go. I need him, right? All of that can impact your health in destructive ways. So avoid persons, places, or things that place you in harm's way. Number one, get your spirituality together. Number two, get your physical health together. And that includes avoiding people, places, or things that put you in harm's way. That's the spiritual lesson. And then the third message is take care of your finances. Financial autonomy, which means that you rely on no one to get your bills paid. Try to the best of your ability to become financially independent, because you had two aspects that came in. One was the Six of Pentacles, which is financial judgment, also in the fourth house judgment, finances, balance. But your final outcome was the Three of Pentacles. And the Three of Pentacles is also important for you to see, because the Three of Pentacles would suggest that you are constructing something, a strong home. Remember, always start with your four walls. Can you pay your rent? Can you buy your food? Do you have a form of transportation? Can you pay your utilities? Those are the four walls. The fifth is your health insurance, or taking care of your health. So those are the three messages in today's collective reading for everybody. Get your spiritual self in order. Start praying for yourself and others. Be consistent in your spiritual and meditation practice. Avoid people, places, and things that put you in harm's way. And make your health a priority. And number three, build a strong foundation so that you are financially secure in the event of an emergency and that you can't be homeless. You know, my friend moved to Albania. Maybe that was she has more bang for her buck in Albania. Excuse me. Yeah. All right. So that is the collective reading. I hope it gave, in terms of how it plays itself in DC, this kind of energy. I think that Republicans have snapped out of it. You know, I think that healing is coming. I think that the beginning of the end was the Epstein files. And I think that the beginning of the end was, you know, everything that we're witnessing right now. Absolutely. Eating good food can be enjoyable. All right. I like America, but I don't like all the violence. I don't like the guns. All right, so we're going to go ahead and spend a little time blitzing away. For those of you who have questions, we talked about Michael Cohen, and I think that that's probably one of the first things is the future of Michael Cohen. Is he going to be in it? Look, if I understand that Michael Cohen has, according to Lev Parnes, has never done anything for anybody other than self-promotion and making money off of his apology tour. I get that. But the truth is coming out. And if I were Michael Cohen, I would start telling the truth, that he intimidated and threatened rape victims, and that he knows a lot, and he needs to start talking about it. He's off hunting for people. This is not good. This is not good. But he has one of two choices, because he did do Trump's dirty work. He can either go back to Trump, which is, writing an article where they pushed me, the left wing, Alvin Braggs was pushing me to dig up dirt on Trump, even if it wasn't true. Well, we know it was true because he's already been convicted of, he's already been found guilty of multiple crimes, in the state of New York, and he's also been found liable for rape. So I don't know. Let's take a look at Michael Cohen. Yes, he has fallen. Very depressing. I have no. Did we get the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away? I got to get the blitz, blitz, blitz away order. Yeah. Let me see if I've got all right, there was the original question. I just wanted to find the original. All right, let's take a look. Michael Cohen. I'll just do 4 cards because it's a blitz, and I'll try to get to all the questions today. There's a judgment over Michael Cohen. So the judgment card falls on Cohen. That's not good. So he is definitely under the spotlight right now, you guys. He is definitely under the spotlight. Oh, there he is. He is withholding information. This guy is covering up also financial crimes, the hidden money, the King of Pentacles. You guys, the King of Pentacles is the guy that hides the money. He's the guy that knows. This guy knows secret things that he has. How could he have kept this from? Oh, it might be over for him. It has something. The bigger issue has to do with the money laundering out of Florida. It's financial crimes. Oh, the truth is coming out. Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael. So Archangel Michael is, each page corresponds with a different archangel. So the archangel that carried the sword of truth is the Page of Swords, and that's Archangel Michael. It's also known as the spies card, which means someone's spying. Why are archangels Michael and spies associated? Because spy is digging to get to the truth. All right, dirty little secrets. 10 of Pentacles moving into 7th position. Let's talk about it. The 10 of Pentacles is the inheritance card. So he inherited a judgment. A judgment is upon him based to his former family or of origin or inheritance. And inheritance has a dark aspect. You have the positive aspects. Yeah, I inherited $1 million. You have the dark aspects. Dirty little family secrets about grandpa, about grandma, about, arsenic and old lace, right? So you got the little dirty secrets with the, something strange going on with that family, right? So one aspect of the 10 of Pentacles is that you see spying happening. And we call it spying because you have this nice little conversation and you have this person hiding in the background watching, like, well, what are they up to? And it denotes this kind of spying or secrecy. The other thing is that it symbolizes birth and death, where the old man has passed and he's on the other side watching, and the child is standing behind the veil waiting to be born. So you have multiple generations. So there's something here about a judgment regarding his inheritance or what he inherited from his family of origin, which could potentially also be some dark aspect. And something about him hiding money. So, ooh, damn, guys. Oh, my God. Oh, geez. Oh, my God. Something about Cohen knows about where the bodies are buried, but he also knows about something regarding hiding money or hidden information. Okay, so let's unpack that. He was caught moving money to cover up rape allegations, or no, to cover up sex allegations. And there are rumors of NDAs and rape payouts. There are rumors of rape payouts, right? So you ask Grok, what about the names of all these supposed victims, where he paid out this kid in 1982 and this child in 1989 and this kid in 19 whatever. And Grok will tell you that extensive research has shown that none of these people existed. But I think they exist in the sense that we do know that there are multiple sexual harassment allegations, not just affairs, but sexual harassment allegations, which means that there were probably payouts. You touched my daughter at Mar-a-Lago. I'm very unhappy about this. We're going to the police. You touched my son at Trump Tower. I'm very unhappy about it. I'm going to the police. You know, you did something you shouldn't have done. So who would have been the fixer? The fixer would have been Michael Cohen. We have heartbreak over Michael Cohen regarding hidden finances. So my question to you is, was he paying people? We know he paid Stormy Daniels. Why was he with a private investigator running around trying to find some woman who'd been raped at 13 at a Jeffrey Epstein party? What was he up to? Something about ending too. It's over with, the Knight of Pentacles goes nowhere. You're not freaking going anywhere with the Knight of Pentacles. You're stuck. You are not going anywhere and hanging it up. The truth will come out about Cohen, and his career is over. I really wanted him to change. Because hush money, look, heartbreak, the man who hides the money. Frickin' sake, man. He, oh my God. Oh my God. I think there are people digging that are going to release evidence against Cohen, and that's why he's being proactive. There is growing evidence that survivors of sexual assault by Epstein and Trump that they received or connected with or had contact with one of Trump's fixers, and one of those fixers was Michael Cohen. That appears to be what is coming out. Now, Cohen didn't begin working for Trump until later, after supposedly Trump had broken his relationships off with Epstein, which means it would have had to have been stuff he was doing. Let's find out about that. Let's find out, when did was it 2012? Michael Cohen start to work for Trump? Oh, Michael Cohen began it in 2006. So that's disturbing, because last known images of Trump with Epstein. So that's what I want to know. Was it 2012? If it's 2012, then that's a problem. That's going to be a serious problem for Michael Cohen, because if Michael Cohen started working for him in 2006, that is a big, big problem. Let me see what Grok has to say about this. Well, he was arrested and charged in 2004. So wasn't it 2004 when he had gotten, okay, let's find this out. Yeah, I mean, It makes a lot of sense that they would start going after Epstein if Epstein was there in 2006 and he was right dab in the middle of when all of this horrible stuff was going on. I think Katie Johnson was sexually assaulted in 94, so it would have been 8 years prior to Cohen working. I think she said 94, is that right? Or was it later than that? The most recent known photographs of Jeffrey are 2001. He was banned in 2007. When did he marry 2000? So, yeah, that's interesting. When did he marry Marla Maples? Was it in the 1990s? God, can you imagine being, 1993. Oh my God, can you imagine being in the middle of this, being married to somebody like that? Okay, so Epstein broke with Trump when? So if it's 2007, 2008, 2007, great. So Cohen was working for Trump at the time that the bad money deal went down with Epstein. You see what I'm saying? So he gets hired on in 2006, right around the time that they start having this money laundering conflict. And so it certainly makes sense that if sexual assault had happened in 2005, 2004, whatever, and this guy's being taken on 2006 and the relationship doesn't even end until 2007, you can be sure that the main fixer would have been Michael Cohen. And that's in fact what the cards say. Yeah. You guys want to talk about it? Investigation happening right now. Truth will come out. He's heartbroken. You can see, hangs it up. His career is ruined. Cohen, look at this. Ends, goes nowhere, hangs it up. The hit man who hid the money, secrets, heartbroken. If I were Cohen, I would just come clean. I would tell it all. The only reason not to tell it all is if he's, see, that doesn't make sense either. If he's if he's part of some deep sting operation, then that would make sense that he wouldn't want to talk about it. But why would he? But that wouldn't explain why he's going after Alvin Braggs and Letitia James. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. All right. Will Trump's fraudulent election results be overturned by new evidence showing voter tampering? I don't think so. I've never felt like that was going to happen. We'll go a little late because we have a lot of people showed up late. So we'll just go a little later than usual. Oof, maybe not. Maybe he won't get away with it. Whoa. Interesting. Oh, here comes the fire horse. I'm telling you, people are driving this president out of the White House. This is a gap stop. This is the Knight of Wands. This is the Earth horse, and the Earth horse doesn't really go anywhere. It's a time of being stable, building up your homestead. Its time is February. It's late December, February, Capricorn, money. That's the Knight of Pentacles. Stable. We're planting petunias. We're not going anywhere. But the fire horse, the wooden fire horse is very dynamic. So in terms of Trump, I just feel that I think his health could cost. I don't know if he can finish his term because of health, because his house of opposition is the Page of Cups, and that is Archangel Raphael, and that is a health issue. So his number one issue turned out to be a health challenge. The other thing is that he's butting heads with Congress and the judicial branch with the Hierophant in 7th position. So I think that he loses because they win, he loses. And I think, to me, it looks like the main thing that takes him out is his health, that they were building a case. He has to do, in a way, they're kind of holding him hostage, certain groups of people, do what we want, or we're going to 25 you out of here because we've got all this medical information. We've got all these records on you. It almost looks like that. But if anything takes Trump out, it'll be his health. Unfit to serve. Well, he disappeared and then supposedly he came back for some ceremony, but a lot of people have talked about the fact that it's gotten really bad. Also, I think there's been bombings in Moscow and people are actually moving out of the city to get away from the bombings. We're actually seeing migration starting to happen away from certain areas, both from the border, but now people are afraid they're living in Moscow. A deal, from his perspective, either a deal is reached with NATO soon, or it will go very bad for him. I get the impression that this guy is confused. I always get that he became a drug addict or something. He's so stubborn. The Two of Swords would denote a stubbornness. He will not leave. He must be removed. He will make life hell for the people of Russia. He has to be removed. Will Iran be attacked? Probably yes, because it's inevitable. They're not going to be able to. Gosh, if I were them, I'd just get on the plane now. Iran, fighting. There's fighting in Iran. The protesters need help. They've killed and arrested so many protesters. They're crying for help. There's not many of us left. They've taken so many of us. The towers here over Iran. The people are fighting. But so many people that were on the streets have gotten arrested. The prisons are full. And the people, when I've remote viewed it, they just like, we can't protest. They've taken too many of us. Like, we need outside help. That's Iran. Many people will die in Iran. The protesters feel betrayed by the West because every time they feel safe enough to come out into the streets thinking that they're going to get help from the West, the only thing that happens is that the West doesn't come and then their comrades are killed. They run into the line of fire thinking, okay, I'm going to have backup, and then backup doesn't come. We feel betrayed, the Ten of Swords, by the West. How many more of us are going to have to die and be imprisoned and killed? The Tower is often a prison card. There is the Shah. There is poverty over Iran. The people, nobody supports them anymore. TYT supports them. They're pro-Iranian. They get money from Iran and Qatar. So 9 of Swords, final outcome, misery and heartache. I see more suffering with the protesters. I see more suffering with the protesters, and that has me very concerned. Yeah. Prince Pazzi, or however you say his name. I'm sorry. He could be coming in as early as April. Yeah. Okay. Prince Pazzi? Is that how you say it? I think I said it right. Epstein's Zorro Ranch is being investigated for murder victims being buried there. I had no idea, but makes a lot of sense because now they're finding some of the child trafficking snuff tape places in Alabama that Sasha Riley Barrows had talked about, the sex abuse survivor. They've now located some of those tunnels that he talked about, some of those places. It sounded like it was too fantastical, right? And does anybody here not know what we're talking about? We're talking about somebody by the name of, trigger alert, it is SA. If you guys don't want to watch this part, we can talk a little bit about it, but it is trigger warning, a lot of SA. And he claimed that he was held hostage in a pedophile ring in Alabama. Yeah. So it's, and that they were underground, like he made all these crazy accusations. That can't be real, right? That would be your immediate thought, is that something that horrible cannot be real.
Of 7 people are now in custody in connection to a child trafficking case involving an underground bunker in Bibb County. Some of the suspects are the children's own parents, and authorities say more victims may still be out there. ABC 3340's Gracie Johnson has more details, and we want to warn you, you may find it disturbing.
It's a case investigators say they'll never forget. Children drugged and tied up, taken underground into a bunker where strangers paid to abuse them. 10 children so far have been identified, the youngest just 3 years old, the oldest 15. Most of them are under the age of 10, and investigators fear there are more victims and suspects still unaccounted for. Investigators say the children were sexually abused in what was described as appointments paid for by offenders. Some of the people who were supposed to protect them were the ones handing them over. Law enforcement believe this wasn't just a local crime. It was part of an organized human trafficking network, possibly linked to a violent gang.
Guys want to talk about it? Yeah, exactly. So I think that is one of the things that Sasha Riley Barrows had said, is that he came to the cops and said, this is being done. Nobody would listen to him. He filed police reports out of Oklahoma and several other places. He said it just got thrown in the trash. Nobody believed. It was too fantastical. This can't be real. This can't be real. And according to, look, obviously it was true because they found the location. So, and this is just one location. It's a network. It's a trafficking. They were doing snuff films and they were filming the abuse, and then they were killing people and filming it. So, it doesn't surprise me that there are going to be cadaver dogs at these locations. But there comes a point when you can't keep saying, oh, that's not true, because that's what we have in the case of Donald Trump. It's not true, it's not true. And then we find out that it is all true, right? Wow. What a crazy, crazy, crazy time. Okay, we'll do one more on Sasha Riley, since a lot of people are asking about it, and if he's going to be okay, if he's going to be vindicated. I appreciate the courage he's shown, and hopefully he can give a testimony on that location in Alabama and any others he was kept at, because hopefully we can find, if there's nothing else, find the bodies of the children that have been killed, many bodies, and let their loved ones know and stuff. They need to start finding the bodies of all those missing kids. We live in a sick world. In a way, things are getting better because now the truth is coming out. And so what should comfort you is in knowing, like, thank God it's over, right? Was it better 10, 15 years ago when it was going on and you knew nothing about it? No, it's better now because it's stopped, right? This is the sanitation that comes with fire energy. When we think of the fire horse, it comes to purify. It's scary, it's destructive. But the fire horse, always the intention is purification. It's the funeral pyre, right? It is over. It is, slow beginnings. It was something that nobody believed him. Nobody believed him. No one would listen. No one would do anything about it. There's a destruction. So everything, the Epstein files and all of the criminal documents and all of these networks is now coming out. It is done. It is done. He did his part. In a way, he can kind of step back. And the lawyers have him now. The feds have him. He is protected. He was looking at immigration to Canada, but I think he went to Mexico for a while. He was taken out of the country briefly. Was it Mexico? Probably Mexico, right? Is he back in the States or is he still in Mexico? I wonder. I guess we're not supposed to know that. They're going to try and take him out. And they've got people that were part of the network that are going to try and screw him over, that you participated, that you're in on it. So people that are part of the network are going to actively work to try and take him out, to betray him, to come after him because of what he has done. A judgment is over him regarding this. He will help expose it, and the Seven of Wands, his perpetrators will be defending themselves. The Tower is over his perps. 8th house is your opposition house. So in his house of opposition, they're fighting, and there's Tower. And the judgment stands with Sasha Riley. His hopes and fears, there it is, the fire horse. Yeah. Over the investigation. 3 of Pentacles, we've talked about that, is the building of a case or evidence. It's a real estate card, but it's anytime you build or construct something. If it's a criminal investigation, it would be the building or constructing of a criminal case. Comes the fire wand quickly. They attempt to get him to retract his statement or threaten him. If you don't retract, A, B, and C will be done to you. He refuses to cooperate. He would rather die than not tell the truth. And so he has already faced deaths multiple times. So from Mr. Riley's perspective, hell no, I won't go. Hell no, I will not go. 4 of Cups, 10 of Swords. You can betray me all you want and say that I was in on it. No matter what you say to me, you've already done the worst. I will prevail. Judgment stands with him. A great transformation. Also, he has many blessed years ahead of him. He will be blessed with many happy years. I can't wait until his book comes out. Book, movie, you name it. He's headed towards blessed years. That is a very good thing. He is headed towards blessed years. You come out, judgment stands with him. They fall. They fall. Yeah. Wow, what an intense day today, everybody. Was this not an intense day, y'all? Was this not like, it was a very intense day for readings. Okay, I'm going to call it quits. It's been almost 2 hours. Yeah, to transform, to be like the butterfly who is transformed. He will rise from this. Yeah. The investigations are scary because so far everything is coming out that it's the truth. Somebody had asked, the one thing that people had asked about Jane Goodall, though she wasn't in the States between 1980 and 1985. I checked her schedule. She was, first time she was in the States, I think it was 1964, and then she was there a couple of times in the 70s, and then she left for the early 80s, and then she came back, I think, in 1985. So the dates are a little off. But if it was 1985, that would make sense because he was older when he got into foster care. So he was in and out of foster care. So it could have been in the later 80s, in which case then it would have been Jane Goodall was, in fact, she was starting Roots and Shoots, and she was also studying chimpanzee behavior on raising children to stop child abuse. That's why Jane Goodall was studying these types of cases, and she wrote about it. She wrote extensively on child abuse and how she learned about parenting from chimps. But so, no, he would not have met her between 1980 and 1985. However, he could have met her after 1985 when she was in the States. So I wouldn't rule out the meeting with Jane Goodall either. If he was born in 1972, he would have been 13, 14 years old when he met her, which makes sense. And that's right around the time when he got out of human trafficking and was in foster care. So it's still possible that he did in fact meet Jane Goodall. Boy, what an amazing woman. Yeah. All right, you guys, I am out of here. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. And we will see you next time. Thank you, everyone. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, I would you can book me through Booksy, Dr. Whimsy Anderson through Booksy. And 5 o'clock tonight, Shiva, is our class. Hopefully those of you who are remote viewers can be there for the class. All right, we're out of here. Bye, everyone. Bye.